Welcome to Art Appreciation. This is Chapter 3, The Principles of Design. So, the previous chapter, we looked at formal elements, line, shape, color, etc. The line, shape, color, value, these types of things are manipulated to get a certain effect with the principles of design. So in unity and variety, you might manipulate color, line, shape, or something like that to achieve the unity and variety. And we'll take a look at that today. First of all, we have placement. In a two-dimensional work, the artist must first limit space and define its boundaries. The boundaries demarcate what is known as the picture plane, which is the arena for artistic activity. So you can imagine the picture plane as the surface of a piece of paper or a canvas or some other material that the artwork is being done on. An element placed in the picture plane becomes the positive form or figure, and the space becomes the negative space or the ground. Now, what we have to remember is the ground or the background is not just the leftover areas that are not drawn or painted on, but they are just as important as the positive areas or positive shapes. You can imagine that as music, in which the notes being played for a piece of music are just as important as the rests. The amount of space between the notes is just as important as the notes themselves. The arrangement of elements in the picture plane is the design of the forms and the spaces between them. Simplicity can be deceptive. So, as you see here at the top, we have a work by Ellsworth Kelly, Red Blue, from 1954. And this is non-objective, non-representational. We cannot tell exactly what the subject matter is, but we do perceive it as this red-colored shape coming in on top of a blue background. The movement of the red-colored shape is suggested by the blue negative space at the bottom right of the work. Makes it seem like it is moving in and upward across this plane. So, as your book says, that affects our perception in terms of weight, energy, and sense of balance. At the bottom here, we have a work by Henri Matisse. Matisse, in his 70s, was bound to his bed or a chair, and to continue to make art, he was really up for painting. He did a lot of collage, which means in French to paste or glue. So he was cutting out pieces of paper and then gluing them down. And here, there's a stark difference between positive and negative shapes, and even difficult to ascertain which is the positive shape and which is the negative shape. Principles of design: balance. A sense of perfect balance can be seen in the yin-yang symbol here. That is a symmetrical balance. If we cut that symbol in half, we have elements that mirror each other from one half of the artwork to the other. Below that is the Matisse work with a figure ground ambiguity. It's unclear which is the figure, the positive form, and which is the ground or the negative space. Symmetrical balance: an equivalence of shape and position on opposing sides of a central axis. It produces a feeling of calm and order. So the axis would be, if we drew an imaginary line down this sculpture from the head and the nose down through the chest and down all the way to the bottom of the feet, one side would mirror the other side perfectly. This is a Cycladic idol. It is thousands of years old, and it is from the Mediterranean Sea cultures there. The problem with symmetrical balance is that sometimes it does not, it's not very exciting. It can be boring. So I would say that symmetrical balance is often used in works that are somewhat meditative, maybe spiritual or religious in nature as well. Another type of balance that we have is radial balance. All elements revolve around a central point. In many cultures, the circle form is considered a perfect form. And so we have two examples right here. We have a sunburst inscribed with the titles of Shah Jahan from 1640. And those are colors and gilt on a piece of paper. It is from the Muslim tradition of creating non-objective works of art. But everything radiates out from the very center of this piece. So it is radial balance and also symmetrical. Below that, we have the Tempietto, or Little Temple, made by the Catholic Church to mark the spot in Rome that they believed St. Peter was crucified, and crucified upside down because he did not want to compare himself to Jesus Christ and the way Jesus Christ was crucified. But this is a circular form that was considered in the Renaissance as an ideal form of divine balance to mark that area. Asymmetrical balance, more dependent on an intuitive balancing of visual weights. While symmetry is static, asymmetry, as we see here, is active. Creating balance will be more challenging, but also more dynamic. Things are moving more. This is the type of balance that you're going to see more often in artwork than any of the other types of balance. I would say the balance here also goes along with the content of the work of art and what it's trying to say. And this work of art is a Greek mythology, and it is Prometheus Bound from 1611 to 1612, a work by Peter Paul Rubens and Franz Schneiders. The work of art deals with Prometheus, who stole fire and from the gods and gave it to humans. And the gods were upset that he did this, so his punishment was to be chained to a rock, and then every day a large bird would come and eat his, is it liver, I believe? Yeah, I believe it's eat his liver. And so he is endlessly tortured by this. So very violent, and then the sense of balance is violent as well. Okay, that is part one of our lecture on the principles of design. Thank you.